Hey everyone, what's up guys, and welcome to my review of the P Bandai Duel Assault Shroud Gundam Ver Anime. To my knowledge, this is P Bandai, so let's get right into this review. Starting off, the painting and sculpting on this figure looks awesome, though at times it does feel like a model kit, but you might be wondering, why is that? This is an action figure. However, all of these parts are technically optional because this is the additional Assault Shroud set. Otherwise, the main release of the Duel Gundam had none of this armor. So very quickly, let's show that. Out of the box, this is what the Duel Gundam comes out like, and let's get into articulation. Starting off, we have a really nice knee bend. Also, we have a little calf rocker, which is super weird, but there we go, calf rocker. Foot can move down that far, up that far with a little itty bitty toe. Side, pretty good. And then, oops. Then we have a little swivel here where it connects to the ball joint, and then obviously a ball joint at the hips. And let me put this little bad guy right back on. There we go. Skirts move. Yeah, it's a lot of finicky ball joints. Really good spread. Could be better, but really good spread. Back that far, and yep, he can pretty much kick his head. Arms can move out that far, which is, yeah, T-pose. Ball joint at the hand, hinge for a double elbow joint, and then a swivel here. Shoulder thingy is on a ball joint and can move side to side, up, down, just to clear for the arm. Shoulders move forward this far. Good crunch, back that far. Side to side, but not that much. Head can move up that far because of the flap on the back. Otherwise, it's on a ball joint and can move giggity kabloo. And the beam saber handles are on a ball joint, and they can move pretty much anywhere you want to put them. Overall, the base Duel Gundam looks really good. I don't have any qualms with it. I do wish, though, that the knees were tighter. To find the perfect rigidity, in my opinion, for a knee joint, or for any joint for that matter, but mostly the knees, whenever you have a figure on its back, you should be able to hold it by the lower egg without it drooping. Unfortunately, he does not pass this test, which is a little unfortunate for such a pricey figure. I do also believe that the base form of this Gundam definitely needs some panel lining, which is a little bit surprising because, you know, it's a painted action figure and not a model kit. And yes, this is all of the accessories it comes with, even the extra antenna in case you break the main one, which is made out of a, not really flexible plastic. A hand tree that has, you know, all the hands you can stick it to. Obviously, open hand I had on earlier, and the trigger finger hand, the right trigger finger hand, is on his gun, which I wish had more paint on it. It's just gray, except the scope is a shiny metallic green. And of course the shield, which is pretty much your standard Strike Gundam shield. Really like the paint. It also has the clip, which you can actually attach. These are shield attachments, and it's on a ball joint, and it can move in and out. Alright, let's get this thing back to the Duel Assault Gundam. Alright, and back to what this review actually is about, the Duel Assault Shroud Gundam. Here's a look at the copious amount of shield adapter pieces. And this little stand adapter, which just plugs in right in his little hole to extend that little hole to make it longer, so that you can more easily put a stand in him. Alright, let's get into the now slightly more limited articulation of the Duel Shroud Gundam. Wow, I can pronounce words. Yeah, this kills all his forward movement, and you can still get his shoulders to move out, which is nice. Side to side, still. Up that far now, which is less. Back that far now, which is less, because for some reason, these are just solidly there, and they aren't on ball joints like the front ones. Why, Bandai? Just copy the same system. You know what? Never mind. Out that far, legs can go pretty much the same, but they can't reach as high because of the armor. Foot articulation is pretty much the same. There's also this little thing right here, which basically no articulation, but it is there to allow for slightly more clearance, which, you know, it works. Skirting armor is on a ball joint, and this thing is on basically just a little hinge. Full bend at the knee, still really good. T-pose is now a little less good. And we get the gun on a swivel, and also on a hinge. So you know what that means? It's a swivel hinge! Boy, am I feeling creative today. You can remove that thing to show the missiles, and if you do it like this, it just kind of snaps, and you can, yeah, that's it. Obviously, the extra armor does limit the articulation, but overall, this thing still poses really well and is a ton of fun to pose. Fists. Open hands. Slightly different open hands that are used for gripping the gun, or whatever else you want it gripping. Ah, it burns! And trigger finger hands. And some holding hands for the beam sabers. Much better. Overall, these are just the same beam saber hands that you normally see from Robot Damashi, and they look good. Not beam saber hands, beam saber blades. They kind of look similar to the older high-grade beams, but here's a standard high-grade beam next to it. Pretty neat. And unlike the high-grade one, which is flexible, this one isn't quite as flexible and is much more rigid. And that concludes the hand tree, which they're actually kind of loose on the hand tree, which I guess is okay, because I guess that keeps them tight enough, but, you know, I wish the hand tree was a little tighter and not as floppy. But I guess none of that mattered when you just take them off and slot a gun into one of them. And the beam rifle looks great on it. Alright, now that he's all kitted up, we can put on the beam effects. This is the big chunkin' beam effect that is for his big old blaster on the cannon shoulder thing. Wow, I am very coherent. So yeah, big old yellow beam blaster. I know the lighting makes it look pinkish, but it is in fact yellow. And in my opinion, it looks substantially worse to the normal beam effect part we get, and that almost that transparent into that more fluorescent green looks amazing in person. Honestly, they could not have done a better job, except for maybe making the tip a little bit pointier. And that plugs right into the gun, and that just looks awesome. Never mind this thing, it's just a big clear piece. I wish they had painted it a little more. Unfortunate, but who cares? We still get this awesome beam effect part, which is amazing for poses. Size comparison time. Blitz, Jin, Sword Strike, Peppa, Giyu, Inosuke, and finally Marvel Legends Deadpool. Overall, this is an awesome figure for those Dual Assault Gundam Shroud, whatever fans. Me included, this is one of my favorite Gundams along with the Destiny Gundam. And unfortunately, the high grade is pretty old, so gotta fork up that over $100. My only major issue is that this likes to pop off. Obviously, the second I start talking about this popping off, it doesn't on camera, but just be wary of that. And in addition, I still think that this is an overpriced figure. Overall, most Robot Damashis are fairly overpriced for what you get compared to other figures, in my opinion, and this is no exception. However, it does look awesome, the effects are cool, and the box is fairly large. So if you can find it for a good price, I recommend it. Otherwise, wait for the high grade revive to come out, because we all know that the Dual Assault Gundam is going to get a revive. Also, I do have the Gundam Seed Freedom version. However, I haven't built it yet, so that's why he's not in the video. Thank you all for watching. Please like and subscribe and leave a comment, and now it's time for the poses.